Hey, let's talk about bearing away and setting a kite on an I-14 from a driver's perspective, right? So like what I said before, always want to make sure you're going full speed and you're keeping the boat flat. So, you know, you'll be coming upwind into the mark, right? So let's go ahead and get out. We're coming upwind, we're coming into the mark, and I'm talking to the crew, right, about what's going to be happening. Sometimes the crew will switch main and jib sheet before the turn. Sometimes we switch after the turn, but you always want to be communicating with your crew on what you're actually going to do. As you come into the mark, typically the crew's going to come in, he's going to let off some cunno, let off some bang. As a driver, I'll be taking some foil off to be able to make that turn. And then we'll go ahead and we'll switch sheets, right? So the crew will hand me the main sheet. And this is really important. We always make sure when the crew hands me the main sheet that I say I've got it. Because sometimes if you don't have it and then you drop the main sheet, then you guys are going swimming. So make sure that you've got the main sheet. So now as I'm coming into the mark, right, me and the crew we're trapped out. We start bearing away, right? We keep the weight out for the turn. And then the crew's gonna jump in the boat and start raising that kite up, okay? Now, as a helm, obviously I want to be easing the main for the turn, but I also want to ease that main out enough so the crew can get the spinnaker up fast without banging their left elbow into the boom. So I want to make sure I ease that main out. The crew, as they've gone in, they've eased the jib, and then now they're hoisting the kite. And as they're hoisting the kite, it's a big spinnaker, right? You guys have seen it, it's really big. The last couple of pulls are really hard for that crew to get up. And you want to be able to get that pull fully extended and the spinnaker all the way out. So as the crew is hoisting, I might come in and just steer the boat a little bit further downwind, and then on that last couple of pulls, I might slide all the way in, taking the pressure off, and then as soon as they've got it, right, they've rang the bell, the spinnaker's all the way up, then I'll go ahead and slide right back up. I'll steer the boat up. I've got my full spinnaker, you know, and then I'll grab a foot strap, and then now we can start ripping, right? And the crew will be out, they'll have the spinnaker sheet in hand, and now we're having fun, right? We're doing 12, 15, 20 knots sometimes, just blasting downwind, and it's super fun. So now we're gonna do some jibes, right? So me and my crew, we're jamming, right? I've got the main sheet, I've got the helm, I've got the foil control where I want it. You know, I might be trapped hard, I might be trapped up a little bit depending on the wind conditions and what it's calling for, but we've got a good communication with the crew. Now, again, like I said, coming into attack, coming into a jibe, always want to make sure the boat is flat and fast. So I'm going fast, we got the boat flat, and now I'm telling the crew, hey, we need to jibe. And so we're going to talk through it. Crew says he's ready. So I'm going to say, okay, jibing in 3, 2, 1, and that's when we begin the jibe. Now, what I do, right, especially the more windy it is I bring the main sheet all the way in, and I pass it to my backhand. Other people have different things that they do, but this is what I do for the jibes. I pass the main sheet to my backhand, and now we're coming in for the jibe. I've said 3, 2, 1. The crew has gone in. I'm stepping in as well. I go back foot in because these trapeze were always getting pushed forward, and I got to keep myself from falling forward. So I go back foot in, right? I stand up, come off on the bail, right? And then I come all the way down, keeping the main sheet in my left hand. Now, as we're coming through, sometimes I'll grab the boom and flip the boom across. It all depends on the wind conditions, right? Sometimes I'll flip that across, but then I'm coming out, I'm switching hands. Now I've got the main in my front hand, right? I switched hands on the helm, but kept the main in my front hand. I go ahead and I clip in, right? And I sit down, and what I'm watching though is I'm watching the crew get through the boat. I'm keeping the boat flat underneath the crew, and once the kite's gone through and it starts to fill and the crew is putting his weight out, now I can start heading up on the new jibe, and I go ahead and slowly come on out, right? Go ahead and take a foot strap, usually the back one, and then the crew is out with me, and now we're rocking on port tack, right? Now we're jamming. All right, so let's do that a couple more times, right? So we're coming in, hey crew, we got a jibe again. Ready? Ready. Okay, 3, 2, 1, jibing. Passing the main and backhand, I've got the main in. I go ahead and stand up, step in, slide my hand across. I'm watching the crew, right? I go ahead and switch hands, grab the puck up here, clip in, keep tension on the trapeze, and now I can go ahead and slide out, grab my main sheet with the new hand, take a foot strap. I've watched the crew the entire way, keeping the boat underneath the crew, right? Cruise now has the kite filled. They're trapped out with me, and now we start rocking on starboard tack together, right? So one last time, no talking. That wasn't very good.